Morning, glory, America. Bonjour, hi, Canada. It's Hugh Hewitt. Friday, May 22nd, the year of the plague, 2020. 5.11 million people have the coronavirus thanks to the People's Republic of China's Chinese Communist Party. 333,000 are dead. In America, 1.61 million of our 330 million citizens have the virus. 95,087 is the official death toll as I begin this Friday morning and you begin your Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe this weekend. Therapeutics are on the way. Vaccines are in development. Americans have flattened the curve. Things are reopening across the country, but don't go a little bit crazy. I'm looking at a picture of a beach concert in Tel Aviv last night. Basically, the Israelis have said, that's it, we're done. 5,000 people went out to dance to Good Vibrations last night. We're not done. Be careful. Be careful out there. That's what Hill Street Blues used. Remember the sergeant in Hill Street Blues? I can't remember his name. Be careful out there. That was what he always enjoyed in his wardroom as they went about their things. Big headlines of the morning. Wall Street Journal, China plans new national security laws for Hong Kong. We've got the British Telegraph. China's regime pledges to clamp down on dissent in Hong Kong at National People's Congress. On the Financial Times, Hong Kong stocks dive on China's plans for security law. Wall Street Journal editorial, China moves on Hong Kong. You got the point. Xi is cracking down when he can while the world is absorbed in the virus he launched recklessly, negligently, not intelligently, not intentionally, according to everything we know and can surmise from the intel agencies. But that does lead me to the financial story of the day, so I'll do it right now thanks to HughGold.com and our friends at Birch Gold. Birch Gold has been supplying gold to you, whether for your IRA by diversification via texting my name Hugh to 474747. They'll send you free information on how to do it. They physically store gold in the amount that you roll over to their trusteeship. They'll take care of it for you. You can go and look at it if you want to. It's a physical depository of gold and silver, and I think you should diversify part of your retirement into precious metals. And Birch Gold has got the best business reputation. That's why they're on this show. If you want to buy gold as well as diversify your retirement, just again, text Hugh to 474747 or go online to HughGold.com. Do it today. Do it all on Memorial Day weekend. Good time to get it done. Gold is up to 1737 as we speak because the Hong Kong index is down 5.5%. That's right, 5.5%. Most market moves are like, you look at England, which is open this morning, it's down a point and a third. Germany down 0.85%. The United States yesterday in its markets, we're off 100 points on the Dow, down 90 on the Nasdaq, down S&P 23. It was a red day yesterday, but these are 0.75% moves or 0.41% moves. 5.5% is collapse and panic time in Hong Kong because Hong Kong hears the tread of jackboots and the tiger tread of tanks coming closer to them, and that's what President Xi is. It's just good old-fashioned communism come back. I have a column over on the front page of the Washington Post. Some people read this column and say, that's a great column. That's an amazing column. And I must confess who wrote it. Yes, it is me. It is me. So here's the deal. Enough of c'est moi. That's it. It's me. I have been thinking about the generation born 1939, 1938 to 1953. They are Generation Fear. They got the raw deal. If you were born between 38 and 53, or mom and dad were, your grandpa and grandma were, they were screwed by the lottery in America. I write, and this is the Washington Post. Send it around to everyone who's that age. Fear comes in vintages. Each generation has its gut check moment that defines all that comes after. The global pandemic of 2020 will work that way on everyone under 50. But my bet is that it is particularly haunting for those approaching the winter of their lives. Bob Dylan was born in 1941. Joan Baez the same year. Director Martin Scorsese a year later. No wonder that Scorsese has been fascinated with these two singer-songwriters. They've lived parallel lifespans. Last year, 2019, Scorsese released Rolling Thunder review of Bob Dylan's story, which was deemed a mesmerizing motion picture by one influential critic. Anyone in the audience for the afternoon show at the Boston Music Hall on November 21, 1975, or any of the other 56 shows of that tour agreed. Catching Dylan in the mid-'70s was a unique experience. The music of that brief post-war Vietnam era was wildly mixed up. Great fun, not linked to protest or politics, except for some faint echoes of the decade before. A jumble of great sound just before it all degenerated into disco. The makers of the music were coming off a young adulthood full of drama and dread. That many of the great artists and their fans of that era collapsed into a fatigued relief after so many years of intensity seems, well, inevitable in retrospect. Many of today's decision makers in America are of the Vietnam protest era, including President Trump, born in 1946, Anthony Fauci and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, both born in 1940, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and former Vice President Joe Biden, who would take the controls from Trump, were both born in 1942. Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer is a child among them. He was born in 1950. Most don't remember World War II, but they all heard a lot about it, and the Great Depression, and they can recall the Cold War with its duck and cover drills in full. Being scared a lot, no doubt, scarred them all, at least a little. Just a few years, but an entire cultural era behind them come Vice President Pence, born in 1959, Deborah Birx, born in 1956. That's the blessed year, I call it. The best year ever to have been born. And I can defend that at some length some other time. Not for the mid to late boomers, any of the anxiety-laden years of the Cuban Missile Crisis or worrying about the draft or being dispatched to Southeast Asia. The cutoff from anxiety after age 18 comes for those born around 1953. Arrive in that year or later, and you and your friends weren't going to be drafted. Other fears clobbered the younger set. AIDS and its deep paw hit all the boomers hard. His friends and family grew sick and many died. Financial shocks and far worse became the norm for everyone born after 1960. 3 or 4 economic swoons have seared all who are now of working age. Senseless terrorism and 9/11 would sear every American with eyes to see. But the politically powerful people named above, Trump and Pelosi and McConnell and all Biden, they all hail from a generation that was reared in fear. Most of that age cohort are connoisseurs of dread. They did not live this long to die before their time and in a random way, struck down by a mysterious viral enemy they cannot see. Much older now than in their heyday years, they are again playing roulette with an invisible enemy. Here's the point. As young people, for this generation, as young people, old people menaced them. As young people, old people tried to kill them. As old people, young people are doing the same. Their parents voted in presidents who sent them and their friends to Southeast Asia. Their kids have children who are asymptomatic balls of kryptonite. Most Americans, speaking very generally, don't have serious complaints relative to those broadly weighing on most of the world. There are exceptions, of course, lives of suffering and tragedy. We know all about that. We have mostly all, however, won history's lottery to have landed here in America and to have largely been spared the desperate scramble for life's basic needs. That said, this cohort of our fellow citizens that is finishing its run this decade or next, the one that Scorsese studies in his Dylan documentaries, Scorsese's first was in 2005, titled No Direction Home, has had, if not a rough time of it, then at least a particularly trying one. By and large, they are not warriors. They are not a greatest generation, though there are some among it who are heroes, of course. They are most definitely, though, of a piece. The date stamps on our entrant ticket are a mix. 1956 was a good year to step onto the stage. 1941, not so much. If past is prologue, the Dylan Baez generation, that 1938 to 1953 group, they'll produce some lasting art and commentary about their age and this crisis. They have done so before because of fear, and perhaps fear will prod them to do it again. It's over on the front page of the Washington Post. I hope you will send it around to people. Hundreds of comments. I'm sure they all love it. Got nothing to do with Trump, but I'm sure all the never-Trump or anti-Trumper people are commenting because they're nutty. But send it around to people born 38, 39 to 53, and they'll nod their heads and say, yep, duck and cover. And now this. The old people tried to kill us back when we were young, and the young people are trying to kill us now that we're old. I'll be right back, America. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper today on the Hugh Hewitt Show.